Hello there, how are you? Welcome back to part two of my screen porch, my metal frame screen porch. Anyway, if you missed part one, I'll put a link somewhere on the screen or down below. But this video's focus is going to be installing my screen, installing the Z channel for my screen door to have a stop, and installing the screen door itself. Getting started was really simple. I started with the smaller section. You know, that learning curve. Pretty simple. Cut the piece of screen to the general dimensions that I needed. Used painter's tape to hold it up in place, leaving about a 2-inch overhang all the way around. However, I started it pretty close there on top. When you tape it in place, you want to make sure your lines for your screen are fairly lined up with the spline groove. That way, once you get this installed, it looks nice and neat. And just know, this is flat spline. It is not like the stuff that you purchase for your screens at home. So it came in a 100-foot roll, had more than enough to do the job, and then because all of my openings were under 4 foot wide, I ended up buying a 4 foot wide by 100 foot long roll, anticipating me really monkeying this up. But it's amazing at how by cutting your piece of screen that you need, taping it in place, starting in the center of the screen, and then rolling it out each direction, how smoothly and quickly that this will actually go on. So I did the top on all of them. I started at the top, started at the center, went out to the left, went out to the right. Then I came back down and did the bottom. And then I did each side, getting my stretch going from side to side. And I didn't pull it real hard. I just put enough tension on it that once I pushed this spline in with this roller, it just went in like butter. I mean, it was so simple. Now, I'm using a razor knife, brand new blade on it, keeping it held out so I didn't inadvertently put a hole in my brand new screen that I installed. The other thing, the little roller, I'll show you here in just a second. It's just the cheap $3 and change one that they have on the shelf, plastic handle. You don't really need, I've found, anything more than this or more expensive. And then when I got into hanging the long pieces of screen, because of the weight, the tape wouldn't hold it, I used the little binder clips to hold it up there on the top, put my spline in on top, and then I was able to work, the top, the bottom, and then come straight down the sides. And again, even the long portions went in just as easily as the small portions. I don't know if it's because I set my mind that, take your time, this is going to take days, but anyway, this is the spline. It's a flat spline. It's not rounded. It only goes into this groove one way. If you try to put it in the wrong way, it'll go in and just fall right back out. Again, it's not hard. The flat side goes towards the metal. And then just use the wheel that you have a groove on it, and it just, like I said, pushes it in there just absolutely perfectly. Where I had any extra overhanging it, I just cut it with scissors, and I could have probably used a razor knife, but I didn't want to take a chance on messing up and cutting my brand new screen. So I was able to finish up all 5 sections of screen in one day. Rain hit, so had a rain delay. Came back out the next morning, pulled the screen door off. Like I said, I had it temporarily installed. And this is where I put this adjustable Z-bar in there. Now this thing was $64 at Lowe's, but they already had the 45-degree angles cut on this. So the only thing I had to do was on the legs on each side was trim the bottom off, and that screen door fit in that opening perfectly. Now, mind you, when I framed it for a 36 by 80 inch screen door, and these Z channels were specifically for a 36 by 80 screen door. The caveat to it is I initially drilled my holes for the handle on that screen door, not having this Z bracket on there. And then once I finished, I was like, well, that's not finished. So then I went back and purchased this. So I had to modify my holes for the handle, but it just came together. You would never even know that I had initially misdrilled the handles. So if there's anything I can tell you about it is wait to put your handle on until the very end. When you know how you're going to finish out your door jamb, then drill your handle for your screen door. Then to get the screen door back up in there, I had to use a log to hold up the right side of the door while I did an initial screw in the top here on the hinge, and then the other screw on the bottom hinge. Once I was finished with that, it was a matter of just putting the other hinges right back in there. This door was framed so well for their directions of 36 by 80 that I had a small paint stir thickness at the top of the screen door and at the bottom screen door for the reveal. It was so cool. And then here, finishing up, I'm going to go ahead and adjust my closure. Well, here I'm putting the handle on. But then I'm going to adjust my little closure spring there so this door will automatically close without slamming. Overall, it was 4 days. Pretty hard slam, but there's a little screw on there. You adjust it, and there you go. You have it. Overall, it was 4 days, but that was due to rain delays. And this thing is just absolutely working perfectly. Alrighty then. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have an absolutely wonderful and blessed week, and I'll see you next time. Take care.